On yesterday's video, we spoke about a short-term trap, possibility at least, spun off the backs of the FOMC meeting, which indeed did happen as Bitcoin did head up to a little bit above 43,000 bucks in the early morning hours over here. Now I wanted to follow up and look at the higher term timeframes for Bitcoin to see, is this likely to continue? Is the trap now officially sprung, not just on the lower term timeframes, but also in the higher term timeframes? And is Bitcoin ready to, well, to bulldoze its way a bit higher? Anyways, other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. So nice little Thursday morning according to my computer, and we can just jump right into this one. So first things first, I actually do want to start off things on a bit of a different note with Dixie, the dollar index. We haven't visited this chart in a while. We kind of left it off way back on over here at about $1.03, about $1.03 or so, and we were saying, hey, probably ready for a bit of a bounce, but likely just that, a bounce. And what do you know, in the past couple weeks, we saw a nice bounce attempt actually back above 104 with yesterday's event. However, the FOMC coming out, looks like that bounce is going to get puked on up, but this is not really like super interesting on the lower term timeframes. What's interesting about this is the quarterly, the higher term timeframes, as we do get into the end of this year, 2023 that is, as the quarterly is really shaping to be a major rejection. Now, still 15 days left in the trading year to go, so a lot of things can happen, but as of right now, yeah, that's going to greatly impact the just general outlook going into 2024, assuming that things do close like this or maybe even lower, especially anywhere below like 102.5 will start to look pretty damn bad for dollar boolas. But for right now, you can see the wheels starting to get set in motion. Now, the big focus on Bitcoin yesterday and the day prior was, can Bitcoin reclaim 42,500, which it did on a daily closing basis, actually closing at 42,900 almost over here on the index. But the thing that I was basing that off of was a presumption as to where the median would be on the daily HPDR bands. Now, here's the thing. I was kind of anticipating that it would come down to about 42,500 in the next day or two. It is not actually. Right now, it is still, actually, it's still significantly higher. It's about 43,750 or so. So to be fair, Bitcoin actually did not reclaim it just yet, which is my more, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word that I'm looking for? I can't find this word right now. It's really going to bother me too. But what I'm trying to say is that if Bitcoin could reclaim it, that's where I really start to look at this as a confirmed trap with much higher implications. Bitcoin very likely headed back up, or not back up, but to, somewhere between like 46,500 to maybe even 47,500 as things kind of shift around here. Now, here's the thing. On today's daily closure, this median will once again shift around. I suspect at that point, it'll very likely be below 42,500. So if Bitcoin can essentially, just close things out here or higher by end of day, that very likely does get met. But again, I'm making a bit of a, I'm kind of anticipating things here before they actually do happen. But so far so good is what I am trying to say as well. Now, on the other side, what would be majorly concerning for Bitcoin? Or actually, before we get into that, let's go back on over here. What I would also say is that, there are a few other things that do suggest, well, upside is more likely from here. A few other tools. We can see that the daily RSI, after playing out some bearish evidence on the last couple highs, which did play down to the 21, which is that easy target that you typically do look for on the, on spot price action here. It did not happen on CME. Again, that's kind of, potentially looking for something like that to happen around yesterday's event, like quick wick down there and then close it back up. That would have looked really, really good. But fair enough, the mark gives what the mark gives. And in this case, we do see hidden bullish evidence after seeing that already played out on the daily here, just on the index though, not on CME. Usually I do, or not usually, I always favor CME's chart over spot price action. Very rarely is CME wrong while spot price action is right. But in this case, we do see the same thing on CME with that hidden bullish evidence. It's just that, filling that gap and coming all the way down officially to the 21 would have looked a lot better. But then again, it doesn't need to look good to me. It just needs to do what it's going to do. But that would be my one concern with this. So going back into the point that I was just about to make, where would Bitcoin be in trouble from a bullish perspective yet again? Well, it's very, very simple here. Back down below 41,500 on a daily closing basis, you got some problems with the next sort of area of interest in low 38s, somewhere around 38,500, with probably a bounce along the way officially at this gap here on CME, which is a low 39,000 bucks. So ultimately, that would be kind of what I would switch around to being a little bit more bearish in the short term. But as long as Bitcoin's kind of holding this range while volatility does collapse, which it is right now, it's going back into remission right there. I'd be looking for this one to play out a little bit sideways, try a little bit of upside, and then see where today's daily closes. Does it close above 42,500? Or sorry, well, price action, yes, but the median. Where is the fucking median at the end of the day? If it's above there, assuming that it does come down, okay, game on to the upside. Very likely Bitcoin headed a few $1,000 higher. It would be my opinion. Just somewhere around the top side of the 50% of historic returns range high. So yeah, fair enough. Anyways, we'll go into some other models in a second here, but I do want to first reference this as well, following up on the Oracle Pro, which we did see that sell signal over here already having that take profit check mark, which we identified over the past couple of days, saying that, again, this is kind of a signal that, hey, the short-term downside could very easily be done. I mean, this is a trap situation. But in the short term, now the 4-hour time frame has actually printed a buy signal over here. Don't really have anything else to say about it other than that. This one can obviously, do something like this and still kind of maintain that. Just don't want to see it below these, these lows right here, like 41,000 bucks, especially on a lower term time frame. Anyways, as far as Thursday statistics go, this would be the more concerning thing. However, Thursday is the most likely to be bearish as far as all the daily closures in Bitcoin's history. 35.42% of those have ever closed positively, which is the most quote unquote bearish day. To be fair, it is one of the least impressive as far as negative returns go. If you take out the weekends, it's the lowest return out of a weekday. At least on the negative side, at about negative 1.69%. And on the plus side, I mean, for the ones that do close positively, did have an average return about 2.42. Let's actually see what those numbers would look like on price action, just to understand. Would 1.69 bring Bitcoin back below 41,000 bucks? No, it would bring Bitcoin somewhere closer to low 42,000 bucks. By contrast, what if Bitcoin added about 2.5% to the upside? That put Bitcoin at the prior highs, basically. Thus also, at that point, just bringing it back above the median here as well. And well, at that point, have to be looking for this rally to continue on, I would say, significantly to the upside. Anyways, it is not unheard of for Bitcoin to close up, or even just general markets to close up coming off of an FOMC meeting like that, and then dump the next day on Thursday, actually. And again, statistics over here, not the best for Thursday, so fair enough. Anyways, my point is that today, I'd have to say, still kind of remains to be seen. I really wanted to see Bitcoin close above the median here before, like, triumphantly saying, okay, that really was a not just short-term time frame bear trap, but like a higher term time frame as well. And this one's ready to rock and roll like many thousands higher, and complete this year higher, which I still do think that it does. I mean, that's just personal opinion here. But that would be the more statistical way of kind of looking at it. Anyways, moving on, and speaking of statistics, I should also point out another model over here. So this is a 12-hour time frame using the HPDR bands, and actually just kind of modeled after the same HPDR strategy that we used to use with just a regular HPDR. But in this case, just using the bands seems to just overall generally work better with these sort of things. And as we can see, the 12-hour time frame did fire off a setup here at 41,500. That was yesterday. And this particular setup, over 49 total closed trades in the past, I believe it is 5 years. If we go to the list of trades, let's see, where's the first one coming in around? Yeah, 2018, so about 5 years, or literally 5 years. Just over 69% of those have closed well with profit. And let's actually see what the average returns are for those profitable trades. The average winning trade, almost 9%. The average losing trade, actually quite similar there as well. But seeing as the percent profitable is 69%, great number. That's going to just be good over the long term. So let's see, what would 9% plus that entry look like? That would put Bitcoin 45,300 or so. So interesting there as well. Of course, on this one will be absolutely wrecked and and be considered a loss. Again, if Bitcoin not even if it just comes below, but if it's certainly closed below about 40,500 or so. So I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off. We do have a few models that do suggest a little bit more upside is likely. The one thing that does make me concerned about this trap being transferred over into a higher term time frame is one, what we did see over here. The daily has not reclaimed the median just yet. Doesn't mean that it can't. It's just it hasn't just yet. Want to see that one come down. Today could very well happen if Bitcoin closed above 42.5. Expect that it'll be around there. And then also, Thursdays are the least likely to close positively for Bitcoin anyways. So in that case, hopefully I've provided the stats in a well digestible manner. What I'm looking for. It's like I got a good amount of sleep last night, but I feel like there was like a last 10 minutes missing, and so my brain's like it can't complete sentences right now. But you know what? Well, one thing's right there, and as always, I'd like to wish you the best of the best. Take care. Much love. See you hopefully Friday.